Hello YouTube. Alright, we have another unboxing for you today. It's of an extremely cheap keyboard. The cheapest keyboard I could find in Staples, believe it or not. It was about $16. It's a Logitech K20. A Clavier K20. K120, I mean. K120. Comfortable, quiet typing, a spill-resistant design, a plug-and-play USB connection. Basically, it touts features that are kind of common on most keyboards. What I found kind of interesting, though, is on the side, there is actually a Tux Penguin for Linux, because a keyboard works on any computer you plug it into, pretty much. So they were accurate with that. I just kind of laugh when they put, like, works with Windows Vista on a monitor or something like that. It's just kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. Quiet low profile keys. It's a durable thin profile keyboard. It's plug and play because it's USB, easy to see characters. Reliability you can trust. I actually typed on one of these while at Staples, and these keyboards actually do feel pretty good for how cheap they are. So I decided to pick one up because I don't have too many USB keyboards lying around, and I need them for working on certain computers. So I figured, why not, right? And the only one I really have is the Dell keyboard that went with the Dell C521. That's all I got for USB keyboards right about now. So at least ones that aren't being used. At least ones that aren't being used and could be used for other purposes. So this one I can use as a one I can just plug into a machine and use. So let's take a look at this keyboard and what comes with it. Comes with a magnetic security device, as always. And here's the keyboard itself. It's your average Joe, normal-ass keyboard, I would say. Nothing particularly special, but something that will definitely get the job done. And nothing quite as fancy as the more expensive keyboards you can get. Now here's an example. I could put this in my workshop and use it on that computer because that has a particularly terrible keyboard on it at the moment. And a type in the workshop where you have hot equipment, a soldering iron, solder, dust, and dirt. You really don't want an expensive or high-end keyboard in your workshop. I mean, things that I would never put in my workshop would be an IBM Model M, a cherry switch keyboard of any kind, Alps, anything that is not rubber dome, pretty much, I would not put in my workshop. I'd put a very not craptastic, but I'd put a decent keyboard that's rubber dome in there, such as this one, and use it. This one actually does feel pretty decent. I mean, this is just a typical, normal-ass keyboard. Nothing special about it at all. Nice thing about this keyboard, actually, is that the keys don't need much travel to go down. So similar to the cherry switches. So, cheap normal keyboard. I'll probably use this as a knockaround keyboard. It'll probably go in either my workshop or on my studio computer, one of the two. But other than that, that's just been an unboxing of the Logitech keyboard Clavier K120. There you have it. Okay, here we are in the workshop comparing the two keyboards I had down here. This is the keyboard that this Logitech K12 will be replacing. This worn out old People PC and Ford Motor Company keyboard that was made by HP. And it gives you an idea of when it was made. I got this keyboard from a place I used to work. It's a piece of absolute crap, but it did get the job done for down here. This one is better, and also cheap. I mean, here's what the, let me go into Notepad real quick. I'm updating Windows on this thing, so, yeah. You can hear the sound of it. It's terrible. I mean, you listen to and then you listen to this one. There's a lot less travel on these keys, which is really nice. Logitech even does well with their extremely cheap mice and keyboards. Their cheap mice, I think, are the best things they have because they have such good DPI for such a low-priced mouse. That's why I have one as my main mouse and my main computer. I think this will definitely be a great upgrade to this computer here in the workshop. Which also, by the way, has had a hard drive downgrade. That hard drive you saw in the eMac video, the eMac hard drive upgrade video, the 160 gigabyte drive is now on this computer, and I just got Windows 7 installed on this computer, so it's now being used on here. So, there you have it. So, the setup I have down here before kind of matched itself. I have this Kensington mouse and the People PC keyboard. Now I'll have a much nicer keyboard. The mouse is actually pretty good. I like this mouse. It feels good in the hand. So, this will be a worthy upgrade, and we'll be able to test whether it actually works with PS2. I went ahead and got a PS2 adapter, and I said focus, and hooked it all up and everything. And I'm one who does not like using USB keyboards. I like PS2 keyboards. I like using PS2 for my keyboards a lot more because it doesn't waste a USB port. Whereas a USB mouse can actually be a good thing because sometimes the USB mice or PS2 mice can act a little funky depending on what controller you have. So I tend to use a USB mouse and a PS2 keyboard. So let's plug this in and see how it is. Okay, I shut off the computer and I've plugged it in via PS2. Let's see if it actually works via the PS2 adapter. Nope, doesn't work through a PS2 adapter. That's a shame. Which means I gotta get back here, get rid of that PS2 adapter, and just use USB. There you have it. Well, I plugged it into a different USB port, so I'll have to check the drivers and everything, but it should work. The good news is this computer's actually new enough to use USB keyboards to get into the BIOS. I can just keep mashing delete here and it'll get into the BIOS. There you go. Got into the BIOS, no problem. So, using this keyboard on this computer should be not a problem. But I think it's a worthwhile upgrade. It's a nicer keyboard, even though it's USB only, but hey, that's okay, because this board's new enough to do it that way. I have other keyboards to choose from if I need to use PS2, so there you have it. That about does it for this keyboard. It's nothing really that special, but it's a much nicer one for the workshop than the one I had, so I'm happy about that. Anyhow, that's it for now, and have a good one, everybody. Ciao.